everybody, Starlight here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be having a look at the brand new expansion announced officially by Blizzard. They do have an announcement video on their channel, the Hearthstone channel, so if you guys want to go check that out, I'll link that in the description below. But this is really exciting because this is coming out on August 6th, which is actually quite early compared to other expansions, I believe. So this is going to be the next chapter in the whole League of Evil saga that I guess Blizzard is trying to make, which is really exciting. All these connected different expansions just coming together. It's really cool. And anyway, Saviors of Uldum, you know, some people were theorizing that this expansion would be based on Uldum, which it was, but some people also thought that League of Explorers would be the main focus of the expansion. But who would have guessed that they would have actually come together? And Blizzard have done it again and given us an exciting new expansion already. We've only seen a couple of the cards and I'm already excited for this. We have a new keyword, we have some new class cards, and it's just going to be really cool. I'm going to be reviewing those cards today, as well as the new mechanic. Yes, new mechanic that's been announced. And so I'm going to be reviewing them, and if my reviews end up becoming less valid because of either cards that we see in the future, because obviously we haven't seen every card in the expansion so far, just a few of them, and if that is the case and they're wrong, or if I end up disagreeing at a later date, before the expansion is released, I will go back and I will re-review said cards and give my a more substantiated judgment on what I think is about those cards. And then obviously when they get released, we'll see how accurate those predictions were. So let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so the first card I've got here is actually including the brand new mechanic. And I do have someone with me right now, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello!
This is Molly. She also plays Hearthstone. She's been playing Hearthstone about as long as I have, so she has just about as much experience.
This idiot introduced me to it and I've wasted all my money. So
Alright.
thanks for that.
Thank you. Okay, thanks. So the first card I'm looking at here is Restless Mummy, and I'm just going to go straight into it and say I'm giving this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And the reason I'm doing that is because, you know, it's a rush minion, and it has the new mechanic Reborn, and if you don't know what Reborn is, essentially, the first time the minion will die, it gets revived with one of its health remaining. So, it is a 4 mana, essentially it's a 4 mana 3/2 with rush that revives itself when it dies the first time. And yes, this is a pretty good way to do it. It's quite versatile. It can hit 2 minions at once, and then you can even treat it as potentially a 4 mana 6/3, which sounds a lot better when you say it like that. And it can also be used to get rid of one big minion. The issue with that is that most of the high health minions that I see in the game is usually things like Witchwood Grizzly and Moshog Enforcer that the Res Priests are playing, and this will not help you get around those cards at all. So, I mean, it will deal with half the health. What do you think?
Me? Well, I was just thinking that, you know, you attack into a minion and it revives itself and it becomes a 3/1. Classes like Mage deal 1 damage, Druid gain 1 armor, deal 1 damage. It's just easily, like, you can easily get around it. Like, your opponent can easily just get rid of that card in 1 turn. But I mean, that would make it a 2, but 3.5 being that, you know, it does waste a lot of mana to get rid of it because it revives itself twice.
Fair enough, fair enough. So you're agreeing with the 3.5, yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with a solid 3.5.
Fair enough. One other thing that I also wanted to mention, a lot of people are comparing this to Reckless Shot, I think it was called, the 4 mana deal 3 damage, summon a 3/3 wolf. I don't think that's a very good comparison. Yes, it does revive, so essentially it is a 3/3 or a 6/3, whatever you prefer. But I think it's more comparable to something like Multi-Shot, you know, because it's also a 4 mana spell that deals 3 damage to 2 enemy minions. And that is, I think,
pretty good.
Like, I mean, it's okay. Like, would you really play Multi-Shot in a Hunter deck? And yes, you could also say that this is actually a Warrior card, so you'd want to play this in Warrior, because Warrior, by definition, is just slower and more control-oriented than the aggressive Hunter. So it could actually be better in a deck like this. But you have to think, would you rather play the multi-shot, or would you rather play a better 4-drop? And I think you'd probably play a better 4-drop. You know, because warriors also have militia commander, and that is just better than this in every way. I mean,
that's a lot better. If that had Reborn, that would be like ridiculous.
Yeah, it was released in Witchwood, so it doesn't. But
exactly,
you know.
But if it was it would be like really good.
Yeah.
This is just a bit, and 4 mana. You know, it's just a bit slow.
I mean, it's okay if you
have
want
to
like
wait. You know, by turn 4, you can bring out a big minion. You can bring out a big minion that costs 4, or you can coin out.
Yeah, and that's
a
another
5 cost minion.
That's another good point. You know, if you're playing this on turn 4, what really are you attacking into that has less than 2 health? This is always going to die when it rushes. It's always going to die. And if you're forced to coin this out on turn 3, then it's definitely going to die, because the only reason you'd have to coin this out is to get rid of
if you had
minion.
like a 3 health minion that had like a big attack that you wanted to get rid of.
You know, something like Scavenging Hyena that hunters have. You know, you might want to get rid of that.
Exactly. Yeah, the 2. Yeah, you want to get rid of that.
So either way, this thing's going to die. So no matter what, it's essentially just a multi-shot. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people have missed there. So it sounds really good when you. Sorry, I remember what it's called. It's called a flanking strike. What I was talking about earlier. Flanking strike. When you compare it to flanking strike, it's pretty good. When you compare it to multi-shot, which I think is actually what it's more like, it's not so good.
There's just so many cards that can deal with this. I think. There's so many. Even the hero powers can deal with it. You know.
Yeah, it's sort of versatile, but you're always going. This is always going to die the turn it's played, or your opponent's going to get rid of it too easily.
It's literally a removal.
Yeah.
It might as well be a removal spell.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because you're not going to use it as a minion to deal face damage. You're going to use it as a minion to get rid of another minion.
Fair enough.
You don't want on the board.
Fair.
Unless for some fluke that they misplay and then you have it left, then yeah that's fine. 3 damage face, that's cool.
But you know, when you get into the higher ranks, that's just not going to happen. So
yeah,
I mean, it's definitely usable. I think warriors will use this because you can still get this off something like Town Crier, and that's good. But I don't think it really deals with a lot of the issues warrior has, which is just getting outvalued by a lot of mid-range hunters and just being ran through by hand mages, etc. It just doesn't deal with the issues that warrior has, and that's my main criticism of this card right now. And so the next card I'm looking at here is the Plague of Death. So this is a 9 mana priest spell with...
I'm going to do that every time.
That's fine. You know, whenever there's a plague, she's just going to be like, whatever. There's only one now, but it's fine.
Every time you play it, I'm going to go, ooh.
Okay. So it's a 9 mana priest spell with silence and destroy all minions. And I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5. Simply because it's way too slow. 9 mana to silence and destroy everything. There's no follow-up play there. You know, maybe you could play your 1 mana Mekaru or something. But there's really not a lot you can do. I mean, yes, mainly this is meant to be just be a play your board clear, pass kind of thing. But priests already have so much removal. They have pain, they have death, they have forbidden words, they have mass hysteria.
Jesus.
You know... They
Priests have pain and death.
Alright.
That's all they have.
Fair enough.
That's all they know.
You know, they don't need this as well. It's not necessary for the deck. They need speed. They need tempo. They need aggression. They don't need board clears, especially ones this slow.
This is aggression. Okay.
It's not aggression. No, aggression is going face. Aggression is not board clears. This is control, not aggro. Yeah, it's just too slow. It's okay. I'm kind of on the fence with it, so I'm like 2.5. It might be good. It might be a one-of against like mech hunters, but in general, I'm leaning more towards the bad. And especially when the main deck priests are playing at the moment is mech priest with their Mekaroos, and sometimes usually their snip snaps, and sometimes with replicating menace. You know, you don't want this in a deck where you're playing sticky minions. What were you going to say you were going to rate this?
I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 because
Fair enough.
I don't play priest personally,
Right.
but I just think it's really good, like, because there's lots of death rattle minions in standard and wild that are annoying, and then you have those minion, especially warrior, have the minions where it's like whenever this minion takes damage, or whenever a friendly minion takes damage, give this minion +2 attack or gain that much armor, etc., etc. So, you know, wiping, you know, is going to do damage, but if you silence it and then destroy it, you know, they're not gonna get anything from the death rattles, and they're not gonna get anything from their buffs or whatever they've added. I just think it's really good, and I the only reason it's not 5 is I do think it is a bit too expensive, especially for priests.
Fair enough.
Because they do have Shadow Word Pain, Shadow Word Death, but it is only for one minion. And if you were to play minions that give you coins when they attack, for example, with this, it could still work. You could still have a follow-up play. You could play minion, you could play a Shadow Word Death, Shadow Word Pain if it hasn't, well, it's destroyed on minions, but in next turn that you do have follow-up plays. I think it's good. I don't think it's 2.5. I don't think it's 5. I think it's 4. I think it's good.
Fair enough.
I do agree. Priests are quite slow, and you know, big priests and OTK priests, even they are slow if you don't get the right resurrections or whatever. So, you know, it's good if your opponent's faster than you. You can just wipe out your board and theirs, and then play your full board next turn, and they don't have anything.
That is a good point. If they do overcommit, this could really screw them up.
Exactly.
But usually you don't really see that at higher ranks, and if they are overcommitting, it's because they have some other way to generate more value, so they're not that bothered. But I see where you're coming from. I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Let's just go on to the next card. Right, and so the next card I've got for you here is the Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. It's a 10 mana spell for mage.
I love Yogg-Saron.
So Yogg-Saron's my favourite old god as well, to be fair.
Yes.
And its effect states that it casts 10 random spells with each target chosen randomly. So let's say you play this, you could cast your Greater Arcane Missiles, you could cast Darkest Hour, you could cast all these different degenerate kind of cards. Degenerate is obviously a very situational term. You could have a pretty bad board when you play the Darkest Hour, but maybe you will, maybe you won't. I'm giving it a 3. Simply because, yes, it could produce some very powerful spells, but it could also produce some fairly weak, mediocre spells. You know, different spells are good in different situations. You really don't want this to pull out, like, Arcane Missiles on turn 10. That's really not what you want. And you don't really want it to pull out, like, even Hagatha's Scheme, because I assume if you were to get a scheme from this, it would do the base form of it.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to get, like, Dr. Boom Scheme, you just gain 1 armor or something like that.
Oh my god. You spend 10 armor, summon a 1/1 imp. Wow.
Yeah, literally. It could be good, but it could be bad. And the fact that you could also get, like, 10 bad spells for 10 mana, that's your entire turn. There is literally no...
You could get 10 1-cost spells. That would be so annoying.
And also the other thing, you know, I was going to give this 2.5, but then I was like, it could also cast itself. It's a spell. It could randomly cast itself and give you 10 more spells, which is pretty good.
20 spells for 10 mana.
Yeah, that's pretty good, but, you know, the chances of that in standard is like, meh. And I'm also willing to bet it can't cast the same spell twice in one go, so you could probably cap out at 20.
You'd be surprised.
I don't know. I don't think it could...
I played Deck of Swells... Deck of Wonders quite a lot.
Yeah, but that's different, because there are like 5 different cards in your deck. This is one card playing 10 spells. There are 5 different cards playing 5 spells.
They are random, so...
Yeah, and because this is based off one card, I don't think it could do it more than once. It could cast itself, but after that I don't think it could do it again. That'd be it. So you could get up to 20 spells if you're extraordinarily lucky, but in general, it's an okay card. Maybe when you get to the late game, you know, you probably wouldn't mind this is one of the cards you wouldn't mind getting off Mana Cyclone, for example. If you're alright to get off Mana Cyclone, or maybe you'd hate it. Depends on what turn you play the Cyclone, right? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay.
I love Mage.
Fair enough.
I play it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah. I used to. Is it Deck of Scrolls or Deck of Wonders? I can never remember.
I believe it's called Scrolls of Wonders. I'm not sure.
Because
It might be
it's
Deck
5
of Wonders.
scrolls, so.
I think it's called.
But I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to presume it's Deck of Wonders. Anyway, I used to play that quite a lot. And there would be games where it was like ridiculously good. Like, I would get a flanking strike, it would deal 3 damage phase, I would get a 3/3 minion. You know? And then it used to like, but that obviously that's different because it's in your deck. You don't just have it constantly regenerating your spells. The only thing is, I think it's too expensive. But it is 10 spells, so I guess it kind of balances it out a little bit because you could get like 10 6-cost spells, for example.
Fair enough.
But then again, you could get really bad spells. You could get spells that draw cards and make you fatigue. You could get spells that draw cards that make you burn loads of cards. You know, you could get Research Project. You could get, you know, what's that one? Gain 5 mana, draw a card. You could get loads of those kind of spells. And while that's good, maybe once or twice, it's not good if you already have like 8 cards in your hand and you're constantly drawing cards from spells.
Yeah, the card you were talking about was Ultimate Infestation, by the way.
Yeah, right. Thank you. And also, you know, you could get spells that do face damage to you.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
And you have no way to stop it. You know, if you're on low health already and you play this. You know, you really don't want to be doing any damage to yourself. You want it all to go onto your opponent. And you don't really, obviously, like, now there's Plague of Death in the game, you could accidentally get that and wipe your entire board, and that would not be good.
That's true, actually. That's a very good point. You could.
You see, because while it may be good if your opponent has a full board, if you have a full board of stuff you're about to buff, or stuff you're about to, you know, cast a spell on, and then you get a Plague of Death, and it just wipes your entire board, and I'm very happy on you.
That's a good point.
So, I think it's okay. Like, for 10 mana, I think maybe it's not too expensive. I think it's the right amount for the amount of spells. But I think that, you know, while it is good, and you could get like ridiculously lucky, and like you said, it could cast itself twice. You get 20 spells for 10 mana. I just think the fact that there's so many spells and a lot of them are aimed to do damage to the opponent, you could end up doing it to yourself or to your minions.
I also, one thing I want to mention... And
again, you don't want to get shit spells on turn 10, do you?
Yeah. One thing
you don't want to get...
One thing I want to mention... Alright, one thing I want to mention is this is actually also kind of more secure than Yogg-Saron, because Yogg-Saron Hope's End, if it dies, it stops recasting spells. This will always cast 10 spells. Every time. Unless it obviously gets counterspelled or something, but every time...
Oh my god, that would be so annoying.
Yeah, literally. Like, if you
just wasted 10 mana.
Literally, it'd be the worst.
A whole turn. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it's 3 stars, because it could be good, could be bad. It's a bit expensive, but not too expensive, like you said.
I think I'm actually going to lower it till 3, because I just realised that it could be easily countered by counterspell.
Fair enough.
But then again, if you are playing Mage, you probably already would have triggered it.
Yeah, true.
By the time you get to turn 10.
Fair
and
enough.
You can only play 2.
So
okay, maybe it is still 3.5.
Okay. Making me mind.
I'm making up my mind. Shut up.
Alright,
okay,
fine.
3.5, that's my final answer.
Fine. I said 3. I wouldn't play it, but I wouldn't mind generating it. So I'm gonna say 3.
Well, yeah, because you've got Mana Cyclone, haven't you now?
Yeah. Alright, next card. Alright, and so the next card we're looking at here is the Evil Totem, a 2-cost 0/2 minion for Shaman, with the ability to add a lackey to your hand at the end of every one of your turns. This, for me, is a 4-star card, just because it's so cheap. So you don't really mind bringing this out in the late game because it's so cheap, and then you get a lackey for it. The issue I have is you get it at the end of your turn, so you still have to wait a turn to play that lackey. And if your opponent clears your board, then it's just kind of there, unless you get a faceless lackey. But this is also 4 stars simply because lackeys are so strong. Every lackey in the game is good. All the way from Goblin to Faceless to any of them, really. They're just all good. So you don't mind what you get. Unless, of course, this expansion brings us new lackeys, which it probably will. And if those lackeys are bad, then obviously that's going to hurt this card's star rating. But if it does, then I'll redo this card at a later date, and then we'll see what my final thoughts on it when the expansion's fully announced. But right now, this is pretty good. You could coin this out turn 1 if you wanted, and then guarantee 2 lackeys. And one of the lackeys you get could be Faceless. Another lackey you get could be the Goblin, which allows the totem to then defend itself, potentially. And that's pretty good value for turn 2. The question is, how often are you going to coin this out? I'm willing to bet not many, but it is the safest way to guarantee potentially 2. You know, your opponent might try and remove this. Well, obviously remove this as fast as possible, so if you play this any earlier than turn 2, it's not living to tell the tale, but it's pretty good. It's a lot of value.
Living to tell the tale.
It's a pretty good card for 2 mana.
It's a totem. What's it going to do? Oh, dead now. Sad. A piece of wood.
Alright. Yeah, it's a pretty good card. I like it. What do you think?
It's okay. I don't play Shaman. Again. I don't play anything, apparently. I don't play Shaman. But I do like the totems that they play. Like, they always really annoy me. But I'm going to give this one 3, just because it's so easily like removed, even if you coin it out. Like, it's most likely, you know, especially, well, actually maybe not.
Okay.
I don't know. I just think lackeys are powerful.
Yeah, they are.
They are. And as you said, all of them, you know, you're not going to complain.
Yeah.
You know, and you can get good shaman spells from the Discover a Spell lackey.
The Ethereal lackey, yeah.
Yeah, I just, it's got no attack value, you know. It's just kind of sat there.
It's very much one of them cards that you want to get by turn 2, or you don't really want it.
You want to have it in your opening hand, or it's pretty useful.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's only a 3, because, you know, there's not you got to get pretty lucky to have it in your opening hand most of the time.
Fair enough.
And you know, and then, you know, you don't want to be bringing out this turn 8, do you?
No, it's true.
Because they're just going to die straight away, and then what's the point in spending 2 mana on something that's going to generate nothing?
Yeah, you'd much rather have the Hagatha on curve kind of play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd much rather play Hagatha than a 2 mana totem that's going to give me a lackey, and it's not even going to do that because they're going to clear it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I mean, you might get 1 because it is at the end of your turn, but that's just a waste of 2 mana and you might even get a 1 that you really, really don't need right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I just think, you know, you have to be able to have it in your opening hand. Okay. And you have to be able to, you know, you're not going to go second every game, are you? So you might not even be able to coin it out.
That's true.
And then, you know, by the time, you know, especially in Rogue, you have has charge when you have a weapon equipped, it's dead. And that minion's still alive because it has no attack value. So, I just think it's kind of, it's good, but it's not great. It's okay. I think I think it's good for Shaman because they don't really have a lot of ways to generate lackeys. That's
true. They do kind of rely on the cable rat.
Exactly, and they have there is a Murloc. 1 cost.
The Sludge Slurper. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite add lucky to your hand. That's it though. You know, Rogue have loads because obviously high sparing.
Yeah.
Priest have some. Every class has some. So I think this is good for Shaman if they want to play lackeys. But you know, Murloc Shaman is the biggest deck right now. So
for
I'm not
Shaman,
really sure. Yeah, for Shaman.
She was saying for Shaman, she did get cut out. She wasn't just saying in general.
Yeah, Murlocs are the best. No, Shaman Murloc Shaman is the best deck right now, and I just don't think this will be played like at all.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it.
But you know,
we'll see what the new expansion brings.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a lackey that like adds a random Murloc to your hand, that would be pretty cool. Then maybe they would play it. But
I doubt there will be one though. Not for Murloc.
Or a Murloc. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of their own thing, Right, fair
exactly.
enough. I'm saying 4. You're saying 3.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. And this card we've got here is the Jar Dealer. It's a 1-mana 1/1 with Death Rattle. Add a random 1-cost minion to your hand. I don't think this is good. I think it's a 2-star. It's not very good. It's too slow. It's a 1-mana 1/1, so yes, it's easy to kill, but it's too slow. Do you really want to put in the extra resources or the extra trade to get 1/1 drop? Not really. The only deck I could really see using this is maybe Token Druid and maybe very, very niche versions of mid-range Hunter. But Token Druid has Acorn Bearer and mid-range Hunter has a much better option of Shimmerfly, so even then, I don't think they would. Acorn Bearer is just better in every way than this card. Unless of course this card does give you Acorn Bearer, that'd be pretty good. But you can't really rely on that every time, so just saying, it's not very good. I think it's 2 stars. There's really not a lot to say about this card. It's kind of a basic, boring effect, and it's not very good either. So, what do you think?
I'm gonna give it 2.5.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, it's not great. It's not very good. It's just a 1-mana 1/1. But it's a good. I mean, if you don't get it in your open hand, that's terrible. But if you do, it's a good turn 1 play. You get a minion. You could get a good minion, like you said, Acorn Bearer. That would be pretty good. Or another minion that generates another minion, which would be pretty ridiculous.
That would be quite strong, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if the opponent's like, I don't really want that on board, to be fair. So especially rogues, or actually any class that has a deal damage hero power, they would want to get rid of it. So 2 mana they have to waste, or they take 1 damage.
Yeah.
And then if they're going to trade into it, then you get a minion out of it. So I don't think it's terrible, but it's not great. It's just a 1-cost.
Yeah.
It's nothing special, and it is only a common.
Yeah, this card could have really benefited from having the beast tag, being a snake and everything. It could have really benefited from that. It just doesn't have it, and that's its main downfall here.
Yeah, because obviously it would have been great in Hunter if it was a beast.
It would have been okay in Hunter. I don't know if it'd been great necessarily, but it would have been okay. I'm comfortable with 2. I don't feel bad about your 2.5 either.
Yeah, I think it's 2.5 because the opponent's going to want to get rid of it, and then you get a minion out of it, so it's a win-win.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then you have the most they're going to play, maybe turn 1 or turn 2, is a 1/1 or a 2/1, so you can just kill it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
That's cool. What I think.
Not bad. And going on to the next card. Okay, and now this is a really exciting thing, at least for me. Blizzard are bringing back quests in this expansion. This is one of the most exciting parts of this. I loved quests. My favourite quest personally was Fireplume's Heart.
Oh my god!
I love that.
Don't even mention.
I love that quest so much.
Do you know how much I hate Odd Quest Warrior?
That was literally my number 1 deck for like ages. It was so good.
It makes me vomit.
Fair enough. You know what?
Ridiculous.
I mean, if you lose to it enough, I guess.
Yeah. Shut up. Ridiculous deck, guys. Ridiculous.
It was pretty nasty to go against, to be fair. Whenever you're against any odd warrior, it was like, okay, here we go.
What's the point? Just concede. 2 mana gain 4 armor. Just concede.
It was annoying. I don't know if it was quite just instant concede worthy, especially when Mechathune came out, but it was pretty annoying.
For me, playing Rogue and Mage,
it was very
really
annoying.
Bad.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying, to be fair.
Very annoying, not pretty.
Anyway, if you don't know how quests work, it's always starts in your opening hand. You can mulligan it away, but it will always be the first card you draw. They all cost 1 mana, at least so far. They might announce one that costs 2 mana, who knows.
Ooh.
I doubt it, because that would just be
I doubt
terrible,
it.
but you know, they could.
Yeah.
The difference with these quests is the original quests back from Journey to Ungaro gave you a card as a reward, whereas these, at least so far, are giving you hero powers, upgraded hero powers. And for the Druid quest, you have end 4 turns with any unspent mana, and your reward is Osirian Tear. Osirian, I don't know. It's either or, it's up to you. And the Osirian Tear is a passive hero power which combines your choose 1 cards. Whether you prefer that or don't, it's up to you. You know, there are some pretty powerful choose 1 cards. You have Living Roots that could be really good for Heal Druid.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, sorry. They also
Rude.
have. There's also Wrath. You know, with this, if you have this and you play Wrath, you're dealing 4 damage to a minion for 2 mana, and then drawing a card as well. That's pretty good. There's some of the lesser used versions. You have Druid of the Claw, which would then gain charge and +2 health.
You get a 4/2 charge. Is it 4/2?
I believe it's 4/4. I could be wrong though.
I have a feeling it's a 2/4 taunt and a 4/2 charge. But anyway, you get both.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
You get both for free. Well,
Yeah.
not for free, but for 4 mana.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's too good.
I'd like to see how this works with Branching Path.
Yeah, we were kind of confused about that one.
Yeah.
Because there's like 3 options.
I guess you'd get all 3 options twice, right?
For 4.
Yeah, that's a bit busted. You know, Jades in Wild might play this, but then I was thinking, would you rather play this over Malfurion?
12 mana, draw 2 cards, gain all your minions, gain +2. 4 mana.
I think you said 12 mana back there.
Did I say 12 mana? 12 armor.
Yeah, 12 armor, draw 2, give all your minions +2 attack. It's pretty good, believe it or not.
Very good.
For 4 mana. But then I was also thinking, would you rather play this over Malfurion? And honestly, I think not.
I kind of said, yeah, but you would just, play Malfurion before, but there's no way to, control.
Yeah,
There might be turns where you literally can't, spend all your mana, and then you accidentally, set a quest.
Yeah. It's hard to control all the time. So I'm overall, I don't even think I've given this a rating yet. I'm going to give this a 4, by the way. A 4 out of 5. Simply because it's a very good quest. But sometimes I think you would also just prefer to have the attack and the armor rather than the choose 1. But I don't know. I think you'd usually prefer the choose 1 cards, especially if you build your deck around that. And also, if you play this on turn 1 and then you coin, that counts as a turn. Yes, you burn your coin, and that's not a very good play. By no means am I saying that's a very good play. But that is turn 1 and one of the 4 turns you need to end with unspent mana. It's not bad. It's pretty good. What you said you wanted to rate it higher, I think.
I said it's a 5 out of 5 for me.
Okay.
I would play this. I would actually build a Druid deck, and I haven't played Druid in a long time.
Fair
The
enough.
last time I played Druid was when Token was a thing.
I mean, Token is a thing now, but old Token, she means.
Old Token Druid, Wisps.
I mean, they still play
And
Wisps, but...
Yeah, shush. What is it? That's the Paladin card.
That's the Paladin card, yeah. She means
it
back
doesn't
in the day
matter.
when before the last standard rotation. She means when
Yes.
branching paths and all those different kinds of cards are in standard. That's
It
what
was
she's
such a
referring
good
to.
deck. Made people really angry.
It was a pretty good deck. I liked it.
But yeah, that was the only time I played Druid. But I would consider playing Druid again with this. I think this is amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to try this in Jades and see if I'd prefer this over Malfurion. I'm guessing I'd rather just play Malfurion the Pestilent to this, but
yeah,
because this is
no.
Although I wonder,
I think this is so much better.
wait. If you did get this and then you played Malfurion, would you get the choose 1 on Malfurion before your hero power swapped? I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe you get both the spiders and the scarabs and then your hero power swaps, or maybe you don't. I'm not sure.
Actually, maybe.
Maybe. I
That
mean,
would make sense, but
the reason I think you'd rather play Malfurion in Jades is because you'd play this in Jades for the late game Jade spam with the Jade idols, if it gets to that point. And the issue is you're going to get this early game and you want to swap to Malfurion at some point. So usually you do at the very least. So I think you'd rather play Malfurion, but I'd still like to try this over Malfurion, see if this is actually
I
better.
I just think it's so good. Like you can easily do this quest by turn.
Yeah.
Especially if you're against quite a slow deck that doesn't play much, so you can afford to not spend all your mana.
Yeah. I think...
especially if you play a lot of cards on curve, and then obviously, don't play anything turn 1. Maybe play your turn 1, play on turn 2, kind of work a turn back almost. I also love the fact that, for example, with the mage quest, you have to spend 5 mana to get an extra turn. With this, it automatically changes your hero power. You don't have to bring it out. You don't have to spend any mana on it, and it's passive. Yeah. So you don't even have to spend 2 mana to get both options.
But it's very good.
I just think it's so good, and especially if you get branching paths, or the other choose one cards, restore. You could restore 5 health and summon 2/1 minions in 1 turn.
Yeah, I think
for 1 mana, I just think it's so good, and especially as a passive hero power, I just think I think it's better than, especially you wouldn't want to play this in wild, because then that's the only way you could play Malfurion in the deck.
Yeah.
I just think it's so good. I think it's one of the best quests. I think it is the best quest.
But yeah, I think this is a decent card. This could have a lot of potential.
It's a million times better than the old Druid quest.
Yeah, it's a lot better. It's so much better, and yeah,
it's definitely the best Druid quest we've ever seen.
Yeah,
maybe not. Okay, I take that back. Maybe not the best out of all of them.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Definitely the best Druid one.
Yeah. Of the 2 Druid quests we've seen, this is the better one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying 4, you're saying 5. Fair
Definitely
enough.
5.
Okay, I'm still sticking with 4 though. I think it's too early to say 5.
It's never too early to say 5, Luke.
Alright, fine. Moving on to the next one then, I guess. Okay, and so this next card we're looking at here is the new Warlock quest. We've only seen 2 quests so far, the Druid and Warlock quest. And this one is a lot harder to complete, I feel, but I think the reward is a lot better. Supreme Archaeology, your quest is to draw 20 cards, and the reward is a new hero power, which is like the old Warlock hero power, except it makes whatever you draw cost 0, as opposed to you taking damage, which is pretty much a lot better.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, if you're playing stuff like Amethyst, Spellstone, you're probably not going to play this, but the ability to just potentially, draw your Jiraxxus and make it cost 0 is very good. The ability to potentially draw Void Lord or Mal'Ganis or something, or your Skull of Minari and make it cost 0 is so good that I think you'd want to play this. Obviously, the main thing you're looking at there is 20 cards is way too much. But there's this little card in the game right now called Plot Twist. You might have heard of it. It's a 2 mana spell. It shuffles your hand into your deck and then draws the same cards cards equal to the amount you just shuffled in. So if you're playing that, it becomes a lot better,
Yeah, realistically, you could do it on turn 10.
Yeah.
Not even that.
I'm going to also give this... I'm actually going to give this 3.5 stars, actually. Because the reward is much better than the Druid one, I think. It's a lot more valuable. It's a lot better. It's a lot faster. But I think the quest... Yes, you could plot twist, but that requires you to draw the plot twist before you draw all the cards you want to discount. And you're not always going to be able to do that. Obviously, they might add more ways to do it in this expansion. In fact, they probably will. I'm assuming they're going to base quite a few cards around the new quests, but in general, I think it's going to be a lot harder to do than the other one. And the other one, the reward is still pretty good. The Druid one still has a pretty good reward. Yes, it's not as good as the Tome of Origination, but it's still amazing. Whereas this one, it's hard to do, and yes, it gives you a better reward, but I think it's too hard to do quickly for it to be too good. Maybe if you're playing a slower deck like Handlock, then you might want to play this. But the main deck right now, at least in standard for Warlocks, is Zoo, which tends to play only one cost cards anyway, and occasionally a Sea Giant. Well, they do play 2 copies of Sea Giant. And are you really going to play this just to maybe discount the Sea Giant in the most played Warlock deck? Probably not. Again, this is all speculation based on what we have now. You know, when the expansion hits, Zoolock might not be the #1 deck. And yeah, fair enough. So, I'm giving this a 3.5 stars. What are you doing with it?
Give it a 2.
A 2?
I just think it's a bit shit. Honestly.
Right, sure, go ahead. Why do you think it's bad?
Right. Draw 20 cards. Yeah. Right. Yes, there's plot twists, and yes, the expansion Blizzard may say, "Oh yeah, here's a few cards that you can draw You can draw easily 20 cards."
Right.
With the same sort of
right.
Same sort of, method as plot twist. Shuffle it back into your deck, draw that many cards.
Sure.
That's the only way at the moment that you can complete this fast. If you don't draw plot twists, and if you can't play it for whatever reason, then this is going to be a turn. What would it be? Turn 16?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially a turn 16 play, which is terrible.
And also, this draw condition, because you're playing this after you started the game, the first 3 or 4 cards you get at the start of the game do not count towards this.
Exactly.
So if you don't play the plot twist for whatever reason...
Oh, well there you go then. It's even worse.
Yeah, if you don't play the plot twist for whatever reason, you probably will if you play this card, but if you don't get it...
Yeah, if you don't get the plot twist, what...
Yeah, you have 6 cards left in your deck when this is finished.
Exactly.
And that's a bit... That's not good enough to rely on, you know?
No, and if, for example, you play Reno lot, which is no duplicates, you only have 1 plot twist in your deck, it's even less likely that you're going to have it in your opening hand. And also, if you mulliganed your entire opening hand, you could get a handful of stuff that you would want to discount.
Yeah, that's true.
I just think even though you can do it, maybe turn 8 with the plot twist, because you'll have enough cards. Well, even then, you probably have to be turn 10 if the 4 cards you draw at the start don't count. Well, they might. We don't know yet. They don't count. I just think. Well, then there you go. Then so I just think it's too slow. I just think it's useless. Like, by the time you do it, you're probably going to have all the cards that you would want to have discounted anyway, or most of them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. People say plot twist, but like, plot twist can still draw you the cards you want to discount before you finish the quest.
100%. It's probably 10 times more likely than if you just waited.
I mean, you could
until that turn.
You could play the Elec and just shuffle copies of them into your deck and get multiple copies of your big minions, but then it's like, okay, fair enough. But
I just think
that requires you to play the Elec. And what if you use Tome of Origination to then draw the Elec? That feels bad. And then you just waste time for nothing.
If you're playing a different set, you could have both your Void Lords in your hand and, Lord your Axis by the time you play the quest, then what was the point?
Yeah. I don't know.
You have all your big minions in your hand, and you've got a hero power that's making you 1 cards 0 every time you draw them. It's just like, what would you do?
Point? Yeah.
Exactly. I just don't see the point. I just think it's too slow for what the Warlock is now. I just don't think it would work. But I'm hoping what they're going to do is build cards around the
Warlock. It needs a lot of help to be good.
I hope that all their expansion cards for this expansion will be based around the quest to make it easier, because at the moment I just don't see people playing it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. It's too slow.
I just see it turning out as a pointless card. I just see it. Yeah, that's why the hero power is good. The fact that you don't have to pay, you do have to pay mana for it, but not to like make it your hero power. It just automatically does it for you, same as the Druid quest.
Yeah.
I think paying 2 mana for it is good, and I think it's a great swap for deal 2 damage, draw a card, draw a card, especially if it's like it's amazing. That's the only reason, you could get really lucky, but we all know what happens. You're going to get lucky.
Yeah, it's true. You don't, especially in
Sometimes you're going
Hearthstone.
to draw all your 9-cost cards, and all you're going to have left in your deck is your 1, 2, 3, maybe 4-cost cards, and you're all
Yeah.
going to draw. Going to be like, what's the point?
And then you just lose the
Drawing
game.
20 cards. Exactly. And by the time you've done it, you might bring out your hero power.
And then it's like, fine, I'll just play all my high cost cards and plot twist. And then what? You do nothing till like turn 9, and then you lose turn 4, 5. That's not good either.
It's impossible to not do anything.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose, especially if you're against a tempo or an aggro deck.
Yeah, it's just not good enough.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna keep it as 3.5 because if they do give more support to it, then I think it could be good. But now,
I'm just gonna presume that they're not gonna do that, and I'm gonna stick with the 2. But I'm hoping.
To be fair,
I really hope that they build cards for the expansion round.
To be fair, as well, you can play Elysiana in Warlock if you have this, and just put 10 more cards in your deck. Fair enough. If you just fill your deck with a bunch of big minions,
that would be good, and it would be very good if you discount.
Yeah, if you put 10 more cards in your deck, if you put 2 Mal'Ganis in your deck, if you happen to generate 2 Mal'Ganis, or happen to generate whatever big minions, maybe you wouldn't even mind Siegebreaker off this, it'd be pretty good. But then
there is the possibility to play, especially play Elysiana on it, but then you'd have to, you don't even have enough mana to draw a card.
Yeah.
At the end of the turn because it costs 2, unless you have the coin in hand still, obviously, which is very unlikely because I tend to use my coin.
Most people
pretty
do,
early.
Yeah.
Most people use it quite early. No one really saves it until turn 10, unless that works.
Yeah.
Unless it's important for their combo, whatever, their winning condition.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just think it sucks right now.
Fair enough.
Especially as the only way for them to achieve it in a realistic space of time is with plot.
It could be good. It just needs a lot of help.
It needs a lot of help. I think, just with plot twists, play it. But I hope that they build cards to work with it and really make it so much easier because right now it's pretty impossible.
Yeah.
I just don't. It's
it's okay. I've been saying it's 3.5. You're saying it's 2.
It's bad.
I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's good either.
The hero power's good. The quest is bad.
Yeah, fair enough. And the last card. And the last card that we've been shown is Questing Explorer, which is a 2-mana 2/3. Remember earlier when we were saying that the Warlock quest needs a bit of help? This could help it, potentially, because it does let you draw if you have the quest. That's pretty good. The only reason we didn't mention
one card.
Yeah. The reason we didn't mention it before is because we didn't want to give spoilers to something we hadn't reviewed yet. But this card could help it potentially. It's pretty good stats for a 2-drop. And if you're playing a quest, you are playing this. There's no reason not to. Unless, of course, we get shown even better cards, which, if you're playing a quest type of deck, what could really beat this right now? Unless you literally had a card that did this, but better. I'm giving it 4 stars. I think it's pretty good. 2-mana 2/3 that lets you draw as a battle cry. If you get this on curve especially, that's very strong stats. Plus you maintain value, and you maintain your hand size, and you get some form of a board presence. This is obviously, I think, mostly geared towards Warlock right now. If we see a different quest in the future that also relies on you drawing or playing big things or get into things quickly, then it could also be geared towards
I'd also like to see something like Mass Contender quest.
Yeah. To play secrets.
Well, obviously not exactly the same because you can't add another quest to you. But if you have a quest, draw a minion.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, something like Mass Contender to draw a minion from your deck if you have a quest is pretty cool. I like that idea.
Exactly.
That's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, fair enough. I'm giving it 4. The thing is, again, with this card, much like the Jar Seller, there's not a lot to talk about. It's kind of a bland card, but it's good. That's the point. It's a good card. Not all boring cards are bad. This is a fine example of a good boring card. It's fair enough. I like it. You like it. And that's all of the cards, by the way. That's all the cards we've seen right now. We don't know anything else that's going on. right now. We are waiting for other cards to get leaked so we can review them. At least I will review them. Yeah, is there anything you want to say about this card before I finish this up?
Yeah, I just wanted to. I really like this idea. For especially mage, there's lots of cards that have synergy with secrets. Not quests, but secrets. For example, if you control a secret by the end of the turn, gain +1 or +2. If you control a secret, draw a card. If you control a secret, gain +2. Oh, I already said.
Yeah.
If you control a secret, deal 3 damage. You know,
Kinda
I just think I want more things like this.
Yeah,
I think it'll encourage people to play quests if there are things that work with it, not just the reward of the quest.
Yeah, so you want things like Medu's Valet, but for quests.
Exactly. A minion that deals 3 damage if you control a quest, a minion that increases buffs its own stats if you control a quest.
Not necessarily specifically that, because that would literally just be a copy paste, but things like that.
Well, yeah, not exactly, but things, not just a Medu's Valet, but
yeah, that'd be a bit like, okay, come on, guys. But I know what you mean. I know what you
mean. A bit more inventive than that, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just think Questing Explorer is a really good idea, and I definitely want them to introduce lots more cards that have a condition that you have to control a quest. I just think it'll make, especially neutral.
Yeah.
Neutral cards as well.
If you have cards like that, they would have to be
most
neutral.
of those cards are mage because they're but they usually place most.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, I just think it's a really good idea, and it's a really good card, and I've given it a 4 out.
Fair enough. At least we agree on one of the cards.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I want them to follow up with this idea, especially for Warlock. I mean, I know I said that most of them should be neutral, but there should always definitely be some tailored to Warlock. Maybe a bigger minion that draws 2 or 3.
I think each class should get at least like one card that's geared towards completing their quest in this expansion.
Yes, definitely. And I also think that there should be a few more neutral cards that have that do certain things if you control them.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah. It's a good card. I do like it. I would definitely play it.
Yeah.
If I was to build a druid deck.
Oh yeah, if you were to play a quest, you are playing this. There's no.
Oh yeah, exactly.
If you're playing quest, you are playing this.
It goes for the same for all of the other neutral cards that they're going to add in.
Unless of course you want to make your quest deck worse, but that's up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's up to you. If you want to make it worse, go ahead. But yeah, that's all of the cards. So thank you guys for watching. Those are all our ratings. Leave any criticisms you have. If you want to make these discussions a bit shorter, that's fine. If you'd rather them just do by myself, or you'd rather me to have more people, or maybe just Molly again, it's up to you.
Pick me.
Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I'll hope to see you in the next one. See yous.